Hey everybody, here we are. Welcome to day 18. Body weight is down to 196.6. This is the lowest that I've been. 0.2 pounds down from the lowest last week. Although last week I went back up on my last day on Saturday. So even though, like I said, this isn't how a normal diet would work because I'm still gaining muscle or recomping, so the numbers are a little bit different than I'm used to. I can still see in the mirror getting noticeably leaner every day, even if I don't hit like a 1.5 pound body weight drop. But that being said, my energy levels are still surprisingly okay. So I'm doing what I call today a suffer day, dropping the calories down lower just to guarantee tomorrow that I'll be lower. And I've decided that I'm going to continue 2 more weeks. So 2 weeks from tomorrow will be my last day of the diet. Now, quickly, just to let you guys know, I have a bunch of longer clips in here today, and there's going to be a lot more talking time for things that I want to discuss. So I understand. Only the concentration curls are sped up. The rest are at normal speed. So if it's long and slow and you want to fast forward and not listen to me, I totally understand. But let me first say the first exercise, standing knee raise up to 25 pounds here. Previous best, I believe, was 37, but I got 39 here today. Again, if you compare it to my older ones, the knees coming up higher. I'm taking less rest pauses, just cleaner overall, not to mention the fact that it's a PR. So happy about that. The hip's been feeling better now. Yesterday, from those rows, the top of my left SI joint, lower back, was irritated, which again, I felt it immediately. It might have been after the jumps or the sled sprints. I was already feeling it a little bit. It's like if you have like a house of cards and, you're laying a foundation, you have an unstable foundation, everything above it is going to be tweaked. So I'm just really trying to get that in place. It's like I said, it's like a Jenga or like a Rubik's Cube to get everything working. But the right shoulder still aggravated, and it went up into my trap and my neck a little bit today. So like I said, the upper body lifts are just there. As long as I can hold the deadlift bar, as long as I can swing my arm to jump and sprint, as long as I can carry my daughter, that's all I need my arms for. But yeah, I would like to get my upper body lifts back, but we'll see what happens. So this is a long set of concentration curls. I believe it was 68. That was my previous best, but I got 71 here today. Same thing. There's still some hip pain at the top of these contractions, but a lot less. And even when I'm standing on my left side after, less. So the hip's coming along really nicely. And I don't feel any pulling sensation in the bottom of my hamstring and my knee, so I feel more confident and comfortable. So everything's gonna stay in the way that I've been doing. After that, this is the last exercise of quad isolation that I've previously done that I didn't have the record. So I went back up to 65 pounds after yesterday's felt good with 55, and I got that record. And my best here was 9. My previous best on this training cycle so far was 7. And I just locked in and I got to 10. I tried to sink the bottom, push the knees forward as far as I could, try to keep the hips up the best I could on the way up. Obviously, it's going to shoot back some, but like I was saying yesterday, I don't know why, but this is just really annoying. Even I'm resting, holding the bar. It's not even touching me while I'm breathing. And it's just like I can't get my positioning right. Like I just feel it in my neck. And just for me, because I'm so unbalanced, like I don't want to rest this long in between reps. But it's just my body thinking like, okay, the right knee is going to move a little bit to the right. The left has to compensate for this. So the hip has to compensate for this. So my right foot ends up turning out a lot, and it's just like my body's just telling me, hey, do you really want to do this? So that's the reason why I'm taking so long. Obviously, it's allowing me to recover, but if I've never moved in a straight line in my life, if I could drop down into it, I would love to. When I see people get into a squat and they could just drop straight down, like I'm envious of that. Like I have no idea what that would ever look like. And people ask me like, oh, what's going on through your mind before like you do a lift? Like usually it's just getting like my breathing properly. Like I don't even have to think about like technique or be aggressive or everything. It's just like just getting my breathing down, and then subconsciously my body's like it anything bilateral, it just knows like we're gonna have some sort of compensation to make this thing work. Like I don't know what an even lift would even feel like, but anyway, that's just what it is. Let's deal with it. I get 10 here today, so super happy. All my quad isolation are all PRs. Now I didn't start doing quad isolation until the very end of my last training cycle here before I got injured. It's not like I was the craziest, strongest at that point in time, but I was definitely very strong and in good shape. So yeah, this is the push-ups yesterday. It didn't hurt that bad. I decided to do these again. I did them just with the 2 weight vests without my daughter today. I got 16 reps. It was the hardest set you ever seen. And then I get back to the camera and I saw it wasn't on. Like, my fault. I didn't turn it on. So I was still a little bit out of breath, but I came back. I'm like, let me bang out another 16 reps just with my body weight, just so we get something on camera. I apologize again. I wasn't happy about that. Moving on to the one arm dumbbell rows, we went up to 135. I managed to get 11 here. Again, the push-ups didn't aggravate my shoulder, even less so than it did yesterday. So I was really happy about that. So I can keep those in. And the other day when I did the one arm rows, the right side felt stronger. Yeah, right there I almost lose my toe. So I decided to do the left side first, which was a mistake, because the right, like the shoulder felt so bad doing these that I was afraid I wasn't going to match it. But previous when I did this, I did a set of 6 and 7. And then my last attempt at a comeback, I just did one set of 8. So that's my best. Yeah, I ended up getting 11 here. So just doing these rows, they're getting stronger. And I just want to spend a little time talking about the step up here. So this is the highest step up that I do this way with the SSB, unassisted, and the rack. So we've done 9, 11, and 13 inches. This is the 13 inches. Now, I didn't discuss this. I might have discussed this before, but since my left hip is pushed forward, and when I come to the top, like I said, it feels like the weight is resting on my ribs. I don't feel it directly during the set, but maybe afterwards, the ribs feel sore. Now, I was worried about it when I did the 11 inches last time. It felt fine after, but I don't think I mentioned the next day, not the ribs, but the abs were spasming in the morning, and it had me concerned. But it didn't feel like it was muscular, because in the morning when I started drinking my shake or I started having water, everything that I was consuming, as soon as I did, the abs started spasming, and I was worried more that there was a digestive issue going on, because sometimes, like, my diet was a little bit different and I had a little bit more grains than I usually do. And I've had an issue in the past when I have too much grains, and usually, that oatmeal, I want that first, my breakfast meal to stay. So throughout the day, I try to limit, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like if I have more grainy food. Yeah, so I wasn't sure what it was or if it was from the step-ups. But when I did these step-ups today, the hip felt a little bit more into place. We're getting closer to feeling like a normal human being again. The math works out. This is 165 or 145 for 42 reps, but the math works out. I'm about 65 pounds off my best. So if I match this performance with 65 pounds more, that's what I have to go. And when I started back, I was like twice that, like 130 pounds off my records. So hopefully this keeps feeling better and better. And I don't like these with bands. The bands feel like if you're a little bit out of place, it pulls you and you feel like you're losing balance. I really like the chains on these. And again, the chains feel more so like a Smith machine, but not so much that you're locked in. but that make it easier on the balance. And the more stable you can be in a one leg exercise, the better, but it still allows for movement so you don't get stuck into a certain plane where joints are feeling beat up. If you guys try this, every time you do a step up from a different height that you haven't done, the knees might get beat up the next day after. They might, but after that, you won't feel anything. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.